I think we'll turn it over to Ryan right now and figure out why exactly Des Moines applied for GCI, where you're at in the process, some major takeaways. Let's just hear what you have to say.
Very good. Well, thanks, Kim, and thank you, Merrick, for a great presentation on the background of this outstanding program. Des Moines actually decided to get involved in this a few years ago, and really we did a regional strategic plan from an economic development perspective for our area. And one of the things that was identified in that plan was that we were really lacking in our global connectivity issues. So we essentially looked at this as a three-legged stool. We wanted to increase our exports, increase our foreign direct investment, and then also attract more international talent to our marketplace. And as fate would have it, the GCI program really came to light at right about the same time that we were going to begin implementation of that other plan. And so for that reason, we applied and were accepted into the program. And really, to kind of back up, why was Des Moines thinking about trying to become more global? We've had a lot of good wins and a lot of good successes here over the last few years from an economic development perspective. And we really realized that there's a limitation to that, and it was really driven by a lot of things that we were doing domestically, and we weren't really engaged enough on the global stage to sustain the growth and success that we're having over time. So it really kind of goes back to the comments that Merrick made about competitiveness, maintaining that, and helping to grow our region, not only now, but certainly into the future. And then as we kind of got into the program, we became aware of some of the stats Merrick used about 95% of the world's customers are outside of the U.S. and how important it is for global engagement. So with that, in terms of where we are in our process right now, we are actively engaged in a lot of the things that Merrick pointed to. I would say the most important of those is our BRE, or our Business Retention and Expansion Program. And that is really just continuing to interact with our existing businesses. And we have essentially globalized that program. Prior to our going through the GCI, we were frankly not asking our existing firms any questions from an economic development standpoint about any issues they were potentially having with trade, how much exporting they were doing, job creation as a result of that. And then on the foreign direct investment side, we learned a great deal in going through the interview process when we went through that part of our plan, how important competitiveness is globally to those firms that we have here in our marketplace. And what we really learned is it's not about the economic development incentives that we have that are available through our states and through our communities. It's that ability to help the local firm here become more competitive in trying to get funds from the parent company, as they could be in competition with other locations throughout the U.S. and throughout the world to get that continued investment. So we really looked at that closely and are trying to help those firms solve those issues. And for us, one of the biggest areas that we're really trying to work on is that talent issue. And I know a lot of cities are faced with that same challenge. Ours is perhaps a little bit different than some larger cities, in that in our case, it's not about finding people and training them. It's just about trying to get more folks into our marketplace. We've got a low unemployment rate here, and we're hearing from our global firms that that's a challenge in terms of trying to attract more investment to our marketplace. So those two areas are certainly off and running for us. And then we've also, and we talked about creating some of these initiatives prior to our involvement in the GCI, but once we got involved in that process, it became extremely clear just how global these initiatives are, and they've really become a major part of the backbone of our strategy moving forward. And the first of those is we created an economic development corridor with Ames, which is a community that's just to the north of us, where Iowa State University is located. And we named that initiative the Cultivation Corridor, and it's focused specifically on positioning Central Iowa as an agriculture and bioscience world leader. So taking all the assets we have that are offered through Iowa State University, as well as our existing business climate here, and really elevating that domestically and internationally is really sort of the backbone of what we're doing. Another area that we are pretty strong in Greater Des Moines is insurance and financial services, which that was also on one of Merrick's slides, and a couple other programs that came out of that area, one of which was we established a global insurance symposium, which we host annually here in Des Moines, and we attract insurance executives from around the globe to our marketplace. We've got over 81 insurance companies headquartered in our market here, and the symposium is multiple days, and it really covers a lot of the issues and regulations and other things that insurance companies face, cybersecurity, software, different kinds of things that industry is looking at and trying to plan for in the future. And as kind of an offshoot of that, we created a global insurance accelerator, and that is funded by several of our insurance companies here in our marketplace. They provide entrepreneurs some seed capital money, and then they help mentor those entrepreneurs through a 100-day program where they're trying to develop some of those software solutions and other types of things to help serve the insurance industry. And we've connected those two programs, and so when the Global Insurance Accelerator completes its 100-day program, we have that time so that all of the entrepreneurs who are involved in that give presentations at the Global Insurance Symposium to a global audience, and that helps them pitch their new products or new ideas to a global audience in their industry. So we've had tremendous success with both of those initiatives. And then kind of going back on the agriculture side, we are currently, we just announced that we are going to be launching an agriculture accelerator that's going to be more based on precision agriculture. So that'll be coming up here within the next year that we'll get that launched. In terms of takeaways that we had in going through this process, which I just want to say, Brookings was absolutely fantastic to work with as we went through the creation of both of our strategies. They really pushed us to really think deeply about what can we really do as a smaller city that doesn't have some of the amenities that you would think of that a global city has. And I think ultimately what it was is just to really focus hard on the things that we are really, really good at. So that's where you've seen us elevate our efforts in ag bioscience and insurance financial services, doing some different things on a more global front in those areas, and then certainly planning our future activities to have that global aspect to those as well. And I think one of the other big things that we certainly knew domestically, but it became even more apparent is the war for talent and how important that is, not just here domestically to firms, but the international firms, I think even more so. You have to demonstrate that you have the talent in your marketplace. You have to cultivate that. You have to develop that in order to work in these jobs. As Merrick pointed out, these are much higher quality jobs, advanced jobs that global firms tend to have. And so we are actively working on those issues as well. And actually, we just released an international talent strategy here a couple of months ago to kind of help us address some of those issues.
Great. That's awesome, Ryan. Yeah, Scarborough's been very thankful to work with both Ivory and Ryan and with the local communities in Kansas City and Des Moines. And I want to applaud both of you for every strategy that you guys have put together and all of your hard work. I know that there are a lot of companies that have benefited from that. And I know that, we're eager to learn more about that, and we have lots of questions coming.